So I'm very happy now to welcome one of our customers on our stage to present a success story. So please, Eva Cibula and Manuel Halik. Eva is head of, or group digitalization officer. Is this correctly? It's hard. Digitalization is very hard to speak, but if you do it once more, then it's getting better and better. So you're responsible for transformation processes, especially in the GRC area.
And especially for implementing BIC GRC across universal investment.
So you're the person here to present us the success story. And Manuel Halik is one of the key team players in the consulting team working on projects for universal investment. And you two share your experience you made, especially with regard to the self-service approach and so how easy it is.
We work closely together.
Exactly. Exactly. So you work closely together, you present now closely together.
Yeah.
I leave you alone at the stage, and I'm very pleased to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Who may start? Thank you very much.
Okay. So what are we talking about? Eva will start with introducing her company, Universal Investment. Then we will have a beautiful slide with the timeline of all the projects we have implemented together with Universal Investment. Then I will talk about the advantages of this approach. And at the end, Eva will show you an example of a project she has implemented by herself.
Thank you, Manuel, for introduction. Yes, I work as digitalization officer. It's quite hard to pronounce for the first time. I was practicing a few times before I could say that out loud. I work for Universal Investment, who was founded in 1968, and Universal Investment is a leading independent fund service platform and also the market leader for KVG and white label funds. We have 500 plus asset managers, we have 30 plus custodians, and we have over 950 billion administrated on our accounts. We grow quite rapidly, especially during the last 2 years. And this is the reason we needed a tool which will help us to visualize our processes, especially our GRC processes, which will help us to make connection between processes so we can see the full picture. We wanted a tool which will grow with us, because we are growing very fast recently. So this is the reason we decided on BIC GRC, and then Manuel can tell you a few things how it all started.
Yes, exactly. So on this slide, you can see a timeline of all the projects which have been completed at Universal Investment and also what is planned for the next year. You can see the names of the project, and next to that, you can see the logos, either of GBTEC or Universal Investment. If you can see just the GBTEC logo, this means that GBTEC did the configuration by themselves, and Universal Investment did not do any modifications. If you can see the Universal Investment logo next to the GBTEC logo, this means that the major part of the implementation has been done by GBTEC, but Universal Investment did minor modifications and still implemented something for themselves. If you can see the Universal Investment logo on the left and the GBTEC logo on the right, this means that Universal Investment did the modifications. So GBTEC's job changed to supporting Eva, to building the projects. And yeah, let's start with the first project. The first project started in 2020. This was not only the first project for Universal Investment with GBTEC, but it was also my personal first project at this company. So I'm very proud to be here today. The topic of this project was outsourcing control. So it is not a typical GRC domain, but all the more exciting. This project consists of many different questionnaires which Universal Investment sends to potential partners to inquire whether a collaboration is possible. Even though the project started in 2020, many modifications have been made since then. The next project I want to talk about is OpRisk and BSI. These projects have been started on a completely new instance, and while BSI was based on a previous solution, OpRisk was a greenfield start. So we conducted analysis workshops, we gathered the requirements, and we ended up with a very successful project. The next project was compliance, and the compliance project was the one Eva joined the project team. And with the addition of Eva, the way projects were made changed 180 degrees. So we were no longer the ones who planned the projects, who did the implementation, but Eva does, and our job changed to supporting her to do so. But it's best to ask Eva herself how the transition went from her perspective.
So the transition, I think, went well because you are very eager and willing to share the knowledge with me. So I was lucky and I joined compliance team 2 years ago. Actually, I joined Universal Investment 2 years ago, exactly when the implementation of BIC GRC for the compliance has started. So my role was not clearly defined, but my main topic was to support Universal Investment team during the requirements gathering and also during the user acceptance tests. During this project, I didn't learn much about BIC GRC. I only touched the surface. I've learned a little bit about permission concept in BIC GRC and roles, because this was something that I needed to know when performing user acceptance tests. But the really deeper dive, when I started to look deeper, was when we started the implementation of business continuity management. So this is the second project in 2022. During this project, we realized that Universal Investment can make some savings if some repetitive part of implementation will be done by me. And my colleague from GBTEC, who I met today for the first time live after 2 years, he showed me the inside of the tool. He showed me how to create fields in BIC GRC, how to write simple formulas. So I was able to support the implementation of business continuity management in Universal Investment. So after we implemented BIC GRC for compliance or for business continuity management, the news started to spread across Universal Investment that there is a tool that can be used and that can be customized according to our needs. So I was approached by a colleague from Product Solution Department, and she asked me if it's possible that I can create a workflow where they can manage issues and perform root cause analysis. I was quite eager to try because I already felt that I can do some small things in BIC GRC. And I was able to create a workflow, but I arrived to this at the moment when I was not able to, for example, create notification because I never did it before. So good that I had Manuel. So I set up meetings with Manuel, and then within few days, we were able to finish my first workflow in BIC GRC. So I was quite full of energy after that. So enterprise risk, complaint management, corporate governance policy management workflow, these were my next tasks. I started to experiment, I started to build by myself, and every time when I needed support, I was setting up a call with Manuel, and we were discussing all possible solutions, which solution will work for us, which solution we should implement, and I was learning more and more and more, which gave me quite a lot of satisfactions. As you see, 2023 is still not finished, but we already have plans for 2024. We would like to implement some ready modules that were designed by our colleagues from GBTEC, so data protection, this is something we are thinking of. And also we are planning to build some new workflows by ourselves. So, and this is funny thing, this is first time when I see how many more projects per year we are doing since I joined. You see that like the beginning it was like 1, 2, and now we are doing more and more because BIC GRC allows us to work freely. So maybe now this is a good time, so you will summarize factors that made us where we are now?
Yes, I will. So, as BIC GRC offers many configuration options, it is not easy for newcomers to get started. To support our customers, we offer trainings to provide a detailed introduction to the most important topics. But if you want to go one step further and not only make minor changes to existing implementations, but also want to implement complete domains by yourself, it is necessary to undergo even more intensive training. For this reason, we have decided not to hold standard trainings, but to provide specialized support for specific problems, following the slogan, learning by doing. In practice, we arranged very regular meetings over a period of time in which Eva described the problem she had encountered with the configuration since the last meeting, and I presented various solutions with the different advantages and disadvantages. This approach not only enables the current requirements to be implemented, but also the knowledge of why which solution is the best in which case, so that similar challenges can be mastered independently in the future. This approach has only worked so well because we have set aside enough time to do these calls and organize these regular appointments. And also because Universal Investment provided a service pool precisely for this purpose. Another important aspect is that the technical requirements for self-service are in place. In addition to the standard production and test environment, an additional development environment is needed. Not only for GBTEC consultant, as it normally is the case, but also for the customer, because this is the only way to assure proper quality assurance. Based on our experience, the factor that most often contributes to the success of self-service is when the person responsible internally has sufficient time for in-depth engagement with BIC GRC. As previously mentioned, BIC GRC is not a straightforward tool, but it becomes significantly more powerful when you have a good grasp of it. To reach this level of proficiency, consistent engagement and the availability of experimentation are absolutely necessary. Ultimately, all these efforts will be most effective when there is an individual within the company who is genuinely enthusiastic about learning and adapting. So we have now heard quite a bit about how to drive success in self-service projects. And now let's talk about what the actual advantages are. The first and probably the most apparent advantage is reduced expenses. As the customer handles operational tasks internally, there are no service expenses associated with project planning or implementation. Instead, only a small service pool is needed to ensure fast assistance if it's needed. In addition, the necessary coordination effort is reduced, as planning and coordination only takes place within one company. Another aspect we have noticed is increased user satisfaction. Since the implementation is closer to the end user, they tend to feel more engaged and providing feedback becomes significantly more convenient. Furthermore, the close interaction with the end user also allows for better formulation of requirements and empowers end users to take control of their own tasks and find solutions independently. The last advantage I want to mention today is the accelerated progress. Working with a self-service approach makes you more independent from GBTEC resources. As a result, as customer, you're not dependent on our availability, but you can make ad hoc changes anytime. But now let's ask Eva to show us an example of how a self-service project looks like in real life.
I have few projects that I already did with, by myself, but with manual support. But I would like to tell you a little bit more about complaint management, because this is the area which can be familiar for a lot of people, because everybody knows what complaint is. We decided to use BIC GRC for complaint management because we need to register our complaints. And we need to because we have regulated entities for which we need to follow our regulators' requirements, BaFin for Germany or CSSF for Luxembourg. But also we register complaints for our non-regulated entities because we want to know what happened. We believe that by listening to the voice of our customers, we can improve our products. And with that, we can improve our client satisfactions and customer experience. As all products we offer to our customers are very tailored, we are more a manufacturer than a factory. We also needed a tool which will be flexible enough to meet our requirements, regulatory requirements, non-regulatory requirements. We needed a tool which will help us to collect a lot of data from which we would like to learn and gather some lessons learned and make sure that our customers will be treated well. BIC GRC gave us this option to do this. And how we did it. As I'm not an expert in complaint management area, I set up meetings with the team who is responsible for complaint management in Universal Investment. And we were discussing what they need. We took all regulatory requirements, all non-regulatory requirements, relevant best practices, nice-to-haves, must-haves, and we were just updating it. We were just creating fields in the development environment. After each meeting, I introduced changes to BIC GRC, and I was asking the team to test it in practice. So it was like a little bit agile approach. We designed something, we implemented, we tested, we adjusted, we implemented, tested, adjusted, and so on and so on. And at the end, we had a tool which is working quite well. So similarly as with my previous project, if I was at a moment when I was not sure which solution is the best, or maybe I didn't know that something is possible, but our team were asking me, Eva, is it possible that BIC GRC will do something? So I was like setting up a call with Manuel, we were discussing, and either it was possible or we found another solution that we implemented. So we are using complaint management for more than 6 months now, and we are receiving a very good, positive end-user feedback. They like this tool. The tool met their needs, so I'm very happy about this. So maybe now I can show you how it looks in practice. Maybe this is a good moment for question and answer session, if there are any questions.
Okay, thank you very much.
It was too fast?
Everything is fine. So we are ready for questions. We received a few, so we are really happy to take them and looking forward to your answers. So first of all, thank you very much for the insights. So it's always very interesting to see for us, but also for our customers, what a customer does with BIC GRC, especially if it's not like a customer asks us, please give us BIC GRC and make a kind of complete key-ready implementation and then leave, but to see that the self-service approach is working, that it's possible for customers if they want to and if they have a kind of, let's say, digital talent to dig into BIC GRC and do it on their own. And then, as you said, it's not like you have one process. No, there are other departments and seeing what you're doing, and they say, hey, I have a manual process not working very well. So might be an idea to get it more digital way, and when you have then BIC GRC, then it's like you can see, okay, perhaps it's possible, and then they can ask you and not a salesperson. And selling, yeah, of course, we can do it. It's more like, and it's more direct and it's more in the company.
I agree, because I think BIC GRC is perfect to replace Excel use and Outlook use. So everywhere where we are having Excels, we are always checking if we could possibly replace it with BIC GRC.
Yeah. And you see that there's lots of Excel in each company.
Unfortunately, yes. And quite a lot of things really can be replaced.
Yeah. So a question would be that Because some of our customers don't know if they heard it the first time that there's a self-service approach, but they get a bit keen to know how it works. So, Manuel, perhaps for you, when is a good idea to have self-service?
So it's a good idea to use the self-service approach once if we don't already have a solution for that case. So for example, if you want to have complaint management and we do not offer a complaint management solution, and you have very specific requirements, and you have the person who is able to do it. So the most important topic is that you have a person who is really into it, and really it's their day-to-day business to work with BIC GRC, because it's not working that well if you have many other topics and BIC GRC is just one side thing you do. So if BIC GRC is your main topic and you have somebody in your company who can do BIC GRC as their main job, then it will be a good idea to use the self-service approach.
Okay, understood. But what is I understood that you need a person who is willing and able to do it.
Yes.
And so often it's the case that people are doing it when they have BIC GRC and they have a solution, then it's a kind of, I won't say part-time job, but it's a minimal part of their daytime job when they say, okay, they are also responsible for risk management, for example, and for having it done in BIC GRC. So what kind of skills do someone need if they are thinking about doing the self-service approach? From your perspective, because do you need MIT studies? Do you need deep programming skills? What is your talent that you did it?
The best is to start. It depends. So BIC GRC is really like a building from Lego bricks. When you start creating your workflow, you have a pool of bricks. One brick which you can use to create a text field, another brick you can use to create a drop-down, a brick to create a header or a label. And the only thing you are doing, you just pick the bricks you like or the bricks you need and just build a structure out of it. The problem starts when you would like to put some life into your workflow, and then I think knowing Excel and maybe some basic programming language is very helpful.
Okay, so you need a little bit like talent, you need a bit like curiosity, that you are in processes, in this kind of process thinking.
And if you would like to make your life faster, if you know programming language, it will be faster because, for example, now I need to spend 15 minutes on Googling how to make a bold sentence in HTML because I would like to create a beautiful notification. And somebody who already knows that can do it fast.
Yeah. So you have to know it on your own, or you have to have someone to ask.
I have someone to ask.
Yeah. So that's a little bit like, I think, a big advantage. If you can say, okay, you're on the one side, you're the person to dig into the processes to try to make it in BIC GRC on your own, and then you have somebody who's helping to get the, let's say, add-on steps to connect the bits and pieces.
Right, right.
So is it something, Manuel, what do you think, what you can do with every process? Is there any kind of limitations for self-service?
Well, everything I can implement, Eva could implement herself. So
this is the key word.
Yeah, she could. So there's no technical, it's no technical restriction. So everything I can do, she can do by herself, using the Lego bricks. She talked about the Lego brick. So if there is a Lego brick, I can use it, she can use it, everybody can use it. But if you want to have a new Lego brick which is not in the standard tool, then we need add-on programming, and this is something I cannot do, she cannot do. So we need our development department to add a new Lego brick. Okay. So this would be a limitation.
But all, let's say, no code, the configuration stuff in BIC GRC could be done by you. Yes. Because it's your main job, doing it for universal investment, but also for other companies.
Exactly.
And you can do it as well because you learned it over the time. And you can use it in different kind of perspectives. Because the interesting thing from my point of view is that what I was quite nice to see that's not only you have one big GRC for one topic, because you think a little bit broader and say, okay, what else can you do? And if you have a tool, and I think that's something for our customers as well, that they think, okay, it's not only enterprise risk management, it's not only internal controls or information security, it could be something else. And it's a nice connection to the presentation of Ronald Pras, where he said, okay, there are lots of especially regulatory requirements to be met by companies, especially when you're talking about financial companies, when you have all this regulation and all this stuff. So there could be many ideas where big GRC would be really a nice idea. But last question, we're talking about IT projects. So there has to be challenges as well. It couldn't be always be smooth and easy.
Of course there are. Of course there are challenges. For example, I was given an administrator manual because they thought it will make my life easier and my adventure with big GRC easier. And of course, you know, I don't have zero IT background, so there are quite a lot of parts in this manual that I'm really struggling with, and I need to bother Manuel. And Manuel, can you please help me again, because I don't understand this part. Can we have a call? Can we do it together? But what is joy also for me is that there are parts of manual that I understand, and I can apply by myself, and I can use it in practice, which gave me quite a lot of really joy.
Okay. So that's something very rare, that somebody has real joy reading manuals, you know?
Right? It's strange.
Yeah, it's strange. But it's like also something we are developing, and that's something Sandra Bla mentioned, that we are trying to improve our documentation, our user manuals, etc.
This is not your fault.
No, it's not your fault, but it's like it's always something you can make better, because everyone in life has seen a manual. It's don't have to be a big GRC manual. It could also be for a car or a TV, etc. And to have a very good manual written, it's very, very rare.
I can tell you which is my favorite part that I understand the best. And then you can see, and maybe you can make other parts to be similarly understandable for people without IT background.
Yeah. So that's something we will do. So we will find your most joy part in the manual.
You know where to find me.
Yeah, exactly. And then we will tell our colleagues that there has to be more fun in our manuals.
A little bit.
I think it should be fun, because manual are so dry and bored. I don't know. Manual has to be fun to read, because otherwise they are somewhere in the cupboard and nobody will read it. So it's better to have more fun parts in the manual. And I think that would be a nice ending of your presentation, to have more fun in big GRC, in our manuals, etc. So thank you very much. It was a pleasure to having you here on stage.
Likewise.
Thank you very much. And I think I go for the last slides of the day. Thank you very much for the highlight.
Thank you.
And I take over. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.